there's been a lot of talk about DeAndre Ayton, with plenty of NBA fans saying he was an overrated pickup and that Lakers fans are hyping him way too much. They claim he's not serious about the game, that he's lazy, and he'll never get back to what he once was because he just won't put in the work. And sure, you can argue that, but that's not really my point when I bring up Ayton. I'm not saying he has to turn back into the player he used to be for the Lakers to see any real benefit from him. I don't think that's the situation here. Yes, it'd be amazing if he did, and that's the hopeful way to look at it. But even the version of Ayton we've seen recently, the guy he clearly is now and what he's proven he can bring, would have been a huge boost to the Lakers last season, especially after the trade deadline. A lot of their biggest holes and weaknesses last year are exactly the things Ayton does well all the time. No, I'm not talking about defense or rim protection. I'm not even bringing up commitment and hustle on both ends of the floor. What I mean is rebounding, scoring in the paint, and just being a real physical body down low. Those are things you cannot deny with DeAndre Ayton, even if you're his biggest critic who loves pointing out his flaws. Sure, go ahead and complain about his defense, his effort, or whether he really cares, but you can't deny his paint production and rebounding. That has always been his strength, and honestly, I think it always will be. Even when he's not locked in or his head doesn't seem in the game, he still impacts your team with that. And with that in mind, we need to look at why that specific skill set is such a big deal for this team right now. Why it's actually a guaranteed way he makes them better this season. And yes, this is a guarantee, not a maybe, not an if, not a might. It's guaranteed that his skill set will help the team. So let's get into that and break it all down. Starting with a few of their biggest issues and why Ayton's game is guaranteed to fix them. I'm talking about defensive rebounding, constantly giving up second chance points, failing to create their own second chance shots, and how all of that collapsed as last season went on, getting even worse in the playoffs. This is where DeAndre Ayton's skill set is almost tailor-made to help them. Look at their defensive rebounding last year. They were ranked 20th in boards per game, only 32.8 a night, and sat 21st in defensive rebound percentage. That shows how bad they really were on the glass, with just a 70.2% defensive rebound rate, which led to them giving up 14 a game. They gave up 15 second chance points a game to opponents, ranking just 17th in the NBA, and things fell apart even more after the trade deadline, then completely collapsed in the postseason, which we'll get into soon. On the other side, their offensive rebounding and creating their own second chance points were flat out terrible, both before the deadline and even after trading Anthony Davis. Honestly, they were even worse before than after. For example, they ranked 27th in offensive boards per game across the whole season, grabbing only 9.7, and ranked 27th in second chance points before the trade deadline, averaging just 12.3. After the deadline, they got slightly better but still pathetic, ranking 22nd with 13 per game. It's almost laughable that they somehow looked improved after trading Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, but the numbers prove how weak they really were. But they were just flat out bad either way. And like I said, they weren't good at getting to the rim or finishing when they did get there. That's embarrassing when you've got LeBron James and Anthony Davis before the trade deadline, then LeBron James and Luka Doncic after it. Even with that star power, they ranked only 16th in points in the paint before the deadline, scoring 48.1 per game, and then fell to 26th after the deadline, putting up just 44.8. And like I said, it got even uglier in the postseason across every single category I mentioned. They were giving up 13 offensive rebounds per game to opponents, ranking dead last of all playoff teams, and also finished dead last in opponent second chance points, giving up 18 a night. Against the Timberwolves, they gave up 18 second chance points, once again the worst of any playoff team. For themselves, they only managed 29.4 defensive rebounds per game, which was the fourth worst of any playoff team, and they had the very worst defensive rebound percentage at just 63.5%. They also gave up the fourth most points in the paint, letting opponents score 50 a game down low. On the offensive glass, they were awful too, ranking second worst in the playoffs with only 9.6 boards per game. And when it came to scoring in the paint, they were even more pathetic, just 34.8 points per game, dead last and easily the worst of any playoff team. So again, no matter if you're looking at offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, paint defense, or preventing second chance buckets, the Lakers were flat out terrible across the board. Pre-trade deadline, post-trade deadline, and especially in the postseason, the Lakers were awful. And this is where DeAndre Ayton's skill set translates perfectly. No matter if you look at his best seasons, worst seasons, or anything in between, rebounding has always been his constant. When it comes to crashing the boards, he's now easily their best rebounder, and it's not even close. Not just for the Lakers, but one of the best rebounders in the entire NBA. Sure, he's not the best defender and not the most dependable scorer, but he's a consistent force on the glass. The guy has never averaged under 10 rebounds a game in any season of his career. Even when playing under 30 minutes, he still clears 10 a game, always making that part of his identity. Just last season, he finished top 15 in offensive, defensive, and total rebounds per game, putting up 10. He averaged 10.2 total rebounds per game, with 3.1 offensive boards and 7.1 defensive boards. Once again, top 15 in each category last season. That's impressive and literally exactly what the Lakers were missing. The problem wasn't effort. They were clearly trying to rebound and burning way too much energy doing it, especially with those pointless small ball lineups. They kept trying to team rebound, but it only led to giving up offensive boards or draining their energy so much that it hurt their defense and even their offense in transition. To me, it wasn't about effort, it was about not having the right player with the right skill set. And now, DeAndre Ayton gives them that. In this category, he's basically a guaranteed fix. We sometimes forget how much rebounding ties into defense, but with the Lakers it was painfully obvious because their defensive problems mostly came from not rebounding. They gave up too many offensive boards, couldn't control the glass, and kept allowing second chance points. That was arguably their biggest defensive flaw. It wasn't really their half-court defense. They were actually decent there, communicating well, switching fine, and even guarding the three-point line better than most people think. But once it came to paint defense and securing the rebound, they collapsed. Now with DeAndre Ayton, who's not just good but arguably elite on the boards, that weakness finally has a real solution. His presence could take them from slightly below average on defense to above average, maybe even one of the better defenses, if he can give them more than just elite rebounding. If he can boost their rim protection and paint defense, that takes it another level. Yes, he's been inconsistent there, but when you look at his good stretches, especially back in Phoenix, he's proven he can be a solid rim protector and an overall good paint defender. If he combines that with his rebounding, their defense could skyrocket. But beyond defense, Ayton is also a guaranteed upgrade on offense. Specifically, his offensive rebounding is huge for a team that was flat-out awful in that area last year. The Lakers were a bottom 10 offensive rebounding team before and after the trade deadline, and in the playoffs, they were literally the worst in the league. No matter if you look at offensive boards, points in the paint, or second chance points, they were terrible. Now they're adding Ayton, a guy who pulled down over 3 offensive rebounds a game last year, ranking 13th in the NBA. He ranked 9th in the entire NBA in second chance points per game, nearly 4 on his own, and 22nd in points in the paint with 10.8 a night. And when you look at that in context, it's even more impressive. He was only 8 paint points per game behind LeBron, despite playing 5 fewer minutes. To me, everything DeAndre Ayton does well on the floor is exactly what the Lakers were missing last season. Whether it's rebounding on both ends, scoring inside, creating second chance points, or simply controlling the defensive glass to fix one of their biggest weaknesses, those are guarantees with him. And if he can also give them stronger rim protection, better defense, and show more effort on both ends, that's just the cherry on top. That's what could actually raise their ceiling even higher, if you ask me. If you ask me, that could actually put them at the very top of the contender list. But with all of that said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about DeAndre Ayton joining the Lakers next season? Do you believe his skill set will be a huge difference maker? Or do you think he won't move the needle much at all? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear your takes. That's going to wrap this one up. And if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. As always, thanks for watching and have a great day or night.